Am I the asshole for kicking out my girlfriend? So I have a cat named Raven who's 3 years old. My girlfriend of 2 years moved in with me a few weeks ago and it was clear she didn't like my cat. I didn't think it was really a big deal until one day I got home and he was just gone. He's not an outdoor cat and he never goes outside. He was gone for hours and I was worried sick until my buddy came to my house and returned him, saying he found him 2 blocks from my house. I asked my girlfriend how my cat, who has never tried to go out before, ended up that far from my house, and she admitted to kicking him out. I was furious, saying she had no right to kick him out, and told her that since she thought she had the power to kick my cat out, I wanted her out of my house by the end of the month. She cried that she had nowhere to go and that she would have to live on the streets. I said I didn't care and told her to leave by the end of the month. My friends think I'm being too harsh, but my cat could have died because of her and I don't want her trying anything else. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. The cat was there first. Edit. Hey, thanks for the awards. Keep her away from your cat. She's going to hurt him, I guarantee it. Let him stay with someone until she's gone. Not the asshole, this chick is psycho. Not the asshole. She figured out how to live separately from you until a few weeks ago, she can figure it out again. End of the month? I'd have put her out that very day. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This was bad, but expect things to get worse every day she is still living there. Get her out now before she can inflict, intentional or unintentional, permanent harm to your cat. She would have to live on the streets. Like she did to the cat, kick him out to live on the streets. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but still I think there's a lot of red flags in this relationship for her to just dump your cat. Not the asshole. If she thinks it's acceptable to do that with something as important as a pet, then she thinks she can do that with any aspect of your life she doesn't like. The cat is important, but almost irrelevant in the scope of red flags she's throwing out. Update: am I the asshole for exposing my parents' favoritism? Update to original post. I decided to go ahead and call my grandparents to accept their offer to move in. During the phone call I asked them why there was monthly payments being sent to my parents. Turns out my parents were living beyond their means for a while because my mother quit her job to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. My grandparents decided to help out by sending them money monthly to help with my parents' mortgage and also to set aside some of that money for college savings for both my brother and I that was to be split evenly. Turns out my parents only planned to put that savings towards my brother's college. And that's also how they bought his car as well. So from now on my parents are now on their own financially. Likely my mother will have to go back to work to help my dad keep up the mortgage. I confronted my parents and asked why they've always treated my brother as the favorite. Then asked if there was something I needed to know. Turns out there was. Nothing. Literally nothing. I'm not an affair baby. Not even an unplanned pregnancy. They just liked my brother more. I was mad as hell and we argued a lot before I left the room because I'd had enough. My grandparents showed up on Saturday with a moving truck. My parents were floored when we started bringing in boxes to pack. My father got in our way and I reminded him how he said that I should move out, so I am. My mother cried some more and said that my father was just angry in the moment when he said that, and they had been counting on my rent money to help with my brother's college fund. I asked if that meant he would never have had to pay rent like I did when he turns 18. My father then said that since I was taking a gap year to work, then my rent money could have helped my brother. Which means they never intended for him to get a job while going to college. My grandpa was enraged and confronted my father, saying he raised him better than this. He chewed him out saying he's never been more disappointed in him, and they will no longer receive any more financial support. Then said he'd disown them both if they ever tried to retaliate against me for exposing them. My father backed down and neither he or my mother said another word to me. I had a bit of an awkward conversation with my brother as we said our goodbyes to each other. And that was it. I just got in my car, waved and drove off. I'm now fully moved into my new room at my grandparents' house. It's a little smaller, but nice. And my grandparents are very welcoming. I'm going to keep working hard to move forward from here and I appreciate everyone's support. They had been counting on my rent money to help with my brother's college fund. At that point any doubts you had should have disappeared. You're leaving forever and their only thought is, but what about money for us and your brother? Your parents are irredeemable assholes. Also, I really like your grandfather. I am so sorry this happened to you. My dad's parents were just like this for absolutely no reason either. I'm glad your grandparents have helped you move in with them. Kudos to you for trying so hard to buy your own car, etc. Edit. Op should look at the comments about his credit and his parents opening it in his name. These are very important. Dad had the audacity to tell to y'all face he only wants you there to pay rent to help your brother benefit only? He's delusional and should be taken from will so you get all their share from grandparents. Good luck, I'm glad you have nice and sympathetic grandparents. Your parents are ghouls. Why have kids if you can't commit to love them? So, let me get this straight. Your parents favor your brother more than you, because they just like him more. Also, they were receiving your grandparents' money and saving a part to your brother's college, but not yours. And, they had the audacity to say that they wanted you in their house so that you could still be paying rent. Oh boy, you missed a bullet there. I mean, kinda late, but you missed. Then said he'd disown them both if they ever tried to retaliate against me for exposing them. If I were your grandpa, I'd be updating my will so that the share of the estate my son would get would instead be split equally between his children and passed directly to them. Because I doubt your parents will leave you anything, they'll give it all to your brother. This makes me miss my grandma. I have a stutter and my uncles used to bully me and make fun of me. One time my grandma heard about it and she made hell. She have 7 sons and some with grandkids. I have never seen 7 grown men cry before. She made them apologize to me in front of their kids and wives. She didn't talk to them for 2 months and they crawled back to her feet for mercy. Wow. Just, no reason. They stole from you and lied to everyone for years for no reason. Just liked him better. I think that is a low-key way of saying they don't like you at all. This is all heartbreaking. Am I the asshole for no longer handing my son his allowance after I found out my husband's been taking it? My son, 10, recently started receiving allowance from me since his dad is unemployed and also because my son likes to have his own money to spend on stuff he wants. The problem is that I discovered by accident that my husband has been taking the money from our son to buy his own stuff like cigarette or a drink. He'd approach our son whenever he has money and tell him he'll buy him what he wants but ends up spending the money on something else, something for him, not our son. Our son obviously cannot drive by himself and buy his own stuff, so my husband offers to buy stuff for him using of course his allowance. I'm a nurse working long shifts most of the time, so I'm not always home. Every time our son wants something my husband would be like, "Hey bud, you want few bags of Doritos for you and the other kids? I'll stop by supermarket and get them for you then. That would be $. Then our son gives him the money but never receives his Doritos. Rinse and repeat. This went on for 2 months till my son told me. Turns out my husband asked not to tell mommy because she'd get mad at him and he'll be in trouble, and promised to get him his stuff but he never does. I had a big fight with my husband about it. He said it wasn't bug deal since he always end up getting our son the stuff he want 99% of the time. He told me to consider this as gas money, since he drives XXX of kilometers to the supermarket to buy what our son wants. I shamed him for taking advantage of our son and taking the money that was meant for him, and said he was acting like a thief, but worse when stealing from his own son. I then said I won't be handing our son any allowance anymore, and my husband said I was overreacting and punishing our son for no reason. I said I'll handle our son's needs from now on, but he argued that I can't when I'm busy working all the time. I said it was none of his business and walked out the room. He kept negging me, saying my son will resent me if I stop handing him money, but I refused to engage any further in the argument and the guilt-tripping. He keeps calling me heartless and financially controlling to take away the allowance. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, and I think your problem is way deeper than the allowance issue. What your husband is doing is a real breach of trust. Not the asshole. This is very concerning behavior. He's stealing from your son, having your son lie to you, and now he's harassing and trying to manipulate you. I understand that this post is just a snapshot of your relationship, but is this honestly the marriage you want? Is this the role model you want for your son? Info: why are you still with your husband when he is clearly taking advantage of your 10-year-old son? Not the asshole. This is the tree that hides the forest of problems in your marriage. If you can't trust your husband not to take advantage of your son when you're at work, I hope you don't have an account in your kid's name your husband can access. Not the asshole. What I would do is 1. Start a savings account with just you and your son's name on it. Put his allowance in there and show him so he can see the accumulation of funds. Plus, it may earn interest. Anyhow, when he wants something, you take the dollar out. 2. File for divorce. Your husband is beyond repair. Not the asshole. Who did you marry? He's grifting his own 10-year-old son for cigarettes? I have no words except divorce? Not the asshole, and please remove your son from this situation. That is parental alienation and abuse. Your husband needs to move out. Not the asshole. Your husband sounds like an absolute treat. He steals from your son, then gaslights him and you, all because he doesn't want to get a job? Then says that your son will resent you for not giving him his allowance in cash? Nope. 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 If anyone will be the subject of your son's resentment, it'll be his father who steals from him and lies about it. Not his mother who's trying to protect him from his father's crappy behavior. Also, gas money? Really? It's not like your husband is supplying the gas for the car since he's unemployed. That's a really lame excuse. Am I the asshole for wanting my husband to talk to me at my birthday dinner? My husband, 58M, and I, 48F, went out to dinner at a cute little eatery for my birthday. We've been married 25 years and rarely eat out. He doesn't like spending the money for restaurant food. However, my mother, who knows how much I enjoy trying out new restaurants, gave me $100 as a gift and told the hubs she'd babysit so the two of us could eat out. It's a beautiful little place. We score a patio table, and because the hubs isn't talking, I start making up stories about the people around us. He's a forensic detective and she sells expensive candles, just silly stuff. He's still not talking. By the time our entrees show, I realize I'm essentially talking to myself and feel foolish, so I stop talking too. I've lost my appetite, so I wait for him to finish and give the waiter my card, sitting in silence. When we're driving home, I said, I know you don't like spending money on eating out, but it was a gift from my mother for my birthday. If you were going to punish me by refusing to talk to me, I wish you'd have just told me and I would have taken our daughter instead. He was offended and huffed, I have nothing to apologize for. Am I the asshole for thinking he would be pleasant company? I've definitely learned my lesson. Edit for info. My husband goes silent and refuses to talk to me as punishment when he gets upset. I didn't realize this was what was happening until around the time the entrees arrived. I guess I should have picked it up more quickly, but I was excited about being out. Info number 2. No, he never said he didn't want to go beforehand. I didn't force him to go. Not the asshole. For his birthday, may I recommend a basic book of manners and nothing else? Oh no, 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 no. I'm so sorry he made you feel guilty for enjoying yourself on your special day. That was a very thoughtful gift from your mom, and I hope you go out again, treat yourself, or take your daughter, mom, and fully appreciate the experience. You deserve it. I also kindly suggest leaving him. Happiness and compatibility is the key to life well lived. Not the asshole. Hey op, in case you didn't know, Punishment by Silence is actually a textbook narcissist powerplay, psychological abuse. Perhaps you can seek solo counseling? And don't take him next year. Sounds like it's mom-daughter time all the way from now on. Edited to say, please use your own discretion in counseling, as I only know your marriage from one post. Recommend solo counseling and maybe running scenarios past a trained professional before jumping straight to couples counseling. Not the asshole. My husband goes silent and refuses to talk to me as punishment when he gets upset. You've put up with this for 25 years? Not the asshole. That was very rude of him. Especially when he wasn't even paying for the meal. Not the asshole. He gave you the gift of the silent treatment for your birthday? I think the silent treatment is a form of emotional abuse. Refusing to speak or communicate with your partner, child is a form of punishment for not agreeing or not doing things their way. But boy, would I be so tempted to play the game. Not the asshole. That's a huge red flag and extremely passive-aggressive. NTA. Your husband is a cheap prick.